Now, for crying out loud, despair just has to be foreshadowed even more for the armies of Shin China. Can it not be timed the fact that Sao is gonna lose? But no, now I'm actually beginning to question even more. How is Queen China supposed to win this war? Anyway, now that it seems they only have 3 days left of fighting, or at least they saying that they have to finish this in 3 days. So, yeah, well, I wonder, I really do wonder what will happen next. Because I won't be enjoying that unless the action will be a bit more better. This is the Kingdom Chapter 555, or Triple Five as we should call it. Yeah, and that is actually a number worthy of celebrating, so to speak. Even the cover page is a poetic words of Shin saying, "The path that I walked on is a continuation of the dream that I swore back in those days." That is a very poetic way of saying it, but yeah, indeed, he has come very far. The angry anime fan here to give you my thoughts about this. First of all, the army, we are switched back to the Shin side of the battle, but first we visit Kanki army for a little while, and yeah, even though Sao army are not attacking them because they're simply drawing it out, confirming for the Kanki army that Gyun's food will outlast theirs, even though a lot of them do still have problems inside it. So, but there has not been another word from Yontawa or Ozen because they will likely be killed in their own way. So, one of Kanki's commanders says that the only way they can triumph over their enemy is if a large amount of food is bring to them. So the mustache guy, sorry, I forgot his name for now, just asks his boss a serious question. It's worth noting that few times the people do not succeed to tell him that is that if they only have a single day of rations left, then they would lift the siege of Gyo and begin an immediate withdrawal. He asks Kanki that, and Kanki just says, "Sure, if we do reach that point, that is." What the hell is that supposed to mean, Kanki? Is that supposed to mean that you really do have seen a weakness in this all? Or is that meant to foreshadow that Kanki's army is just gonna leave their duties? Either way, on the plains of the battlefield, the rest of the army are quite quiet as the young commanders, including the high commanders of Akuo army, are having a meeting. It begins, of course, with Osen telling Karyo-ten to shut up for taking charge. So, when he is actually the one taking charge. Oh, awesome. I really do hate you a very big lot. Mostly because it's so frustrating you still haven't gone through any character development, but I guess that is your character, to always be a douche through and through. So he tells to them all that they need to, that they have enough, that they must, sorry, they may only have food for the next 5 or 4 days, probably implying that this is that time when the messenger came about. So yeah, I mean the time zone here are very difficult to predict, at least for me. But if he's saying that they may have food about 4 or 5 days, then that means, well, they have to hurry. So so for him is that they need to smash their armies in the next 3 days and then defeat Ribukon the very last, which Shins point out that they still will run out of food. Awesome points out though that they may very well have to take food from the villages and smaller cities. That which is of course not exactly up to Shin's standards, because again, war is war, but Shin does has his moral standards, and even Karyu 10 points out that they will just take the food nothing else. However, Shin is the one who point out that what if they don't want to share the food, meaning that maybe they have to abandon their motives to do that. However, the Akugo army's deputy Gu Nei points out that that is only for Ozen to decide. So either way, uh, so they need to do. They need to kill one of the commanders because the left wing do not have, or was it right wing, do not have a commander, but they have identified all of the four commanders: Bananji, Gyoyun, Shogaryu, and Gakuei, meaning that none of them are taking orders from another commander. They are all walking away independent and working together, although it's clear that Gakuei is not exactly fond of any of the others. So, um, so and it's all Karyu 10 points out. Sorry, I'm stammering a little bit. It's distracted a little bit in my mind, to be fair. Karyu 10 points out that they have no supreme commander for that wing, meaning they won't collapse even if you do kill one of them. But Ohon is the one who point out that the um, that it will be easier to take out one piece meal at a time. So Akugo gives them army to give them order to remove the weakest of the four armies, Gakue. It pleases me a lot to know that he is indeed the weakest of them all, because I suspected he was. And it's about time that arrogant general's head gets flown. He is quite honestly an eyesore. So Akugo army is entrusting both the units of Gyoku and Hishin to take Geku's armies, because he's saying that failure is not meant to be on this part. So he must die today, and that is the absolute order. Ohorn says he understands, while the Akugo army will handle the other three. Oh, Akugo. There's no way it's gonna be that effective. So as they go, Banju has a talk to the deputy Gunei. Apparently, they knew each other from a part time, because surprisingly, Gunei is talking about how much the young master has grown, and it's the fact that he thanks Banju for doing that. It's the fact that strange thing enough is the fact that he is Gunne is saying, I, along with many others, have always felt remorseful over the burden you alone had to bear. I have no idea what that is meant to imply. Is that meant to imply that he believed that Banju was dumped on Ohorn and has been practically raising him since then? Well, who knows? But somehow these two know each other, and Banju feels very honored to be praised by Guno, meaning he is a pretty important Mao. Uh, so with that, he asks them to take care of the young master. The armies all head out towards their destinations. However, the narrator foreshadows that unfortunately this battle is gonna be a battle of despair, because the narrator himself is saying, uh, unknowns to them, this would prove to backfire spectacularly against the Qin forces, as they went out to take the head of Gakue. And why? Well, Banjuju met Riboku back on the scene, and Kaine is once again being very arrogant. I mean, it's kind of arrogant, yes, how much she is supposed to be arrogant. Riboku mentioning that no matter how much Banjo fights, it doesn't seem that anything can collapse, and Banjo himself confirms that. So the reason why Riboku is here in his arrogance ass is to show that he has actually discovered a weakness in the Akugo army. First it was the Makugo, now it is Akugo. Can for once Sao army have a weakness? and not just the Shin China army. Either way, the narrator foreshadows that something despair will happen for the Shin army forces. They only have about 4 days worth of food. So, yeah, quite honestly, how the hell can they survive all this? How? And if Akugo armies is gonna collapse this battle this battle day, then who's gonna take charge? Ohon? It's it's too much despair right now for me. It's too much despair for me to like it. There is, and also it's the fact that there is too much logic argument. I hate logic. It stops a manga from developing. So quite honestly, I'm completely in blind on what the Shin army can do. What is Kanki's words? Will they take the head of Gakuge but lose another commander in the process? Or will there be something else? Well, likely, I don't know the Akugo army's weakness, but it seems to be the fact that he focuses on one thing at a time. So, in the end, will this be a battle where Shin army loses something and not the Sao army? You give me a thoughts if you have any. Because in the end, I always thought Gakuge would fall to Shin's blade. Because I didn't really think he was worthy of two. But I guess desperation calls for some things.